In a quiet house filled with love and tradition, for family members lived together: a grandfather, a father, a mother, and a young daughter. The little girl, just 8 years old, was the apple of her grandfather's eye. One day he gifted her a watch. It was a simple timepiece, yet to her it was priceless, especially because it was in her favorite color, black. She wore it with joy, her tiny wrist adorned with a token of love from her beloved grandfather. Then, as children do, she ran off to play with her friends, leaving behind only the sound of her laughter. Years passed, and that little girl grew into a young woman. At 18, she stood on the threshold of a new chapter, her first day at university. A week later, in the hostel, her friends invited her for a game of cricket. The air was filled with excitement as she sprinted across the field. But in a fleeting moment, she stumbled and fell. Her hands hit the ground, and so did the watch. A crack split through the glass face. Her friends, noticing the watch had stopped, playfully suggested, "Just tap it lightly, it might start working again." But for her, the damage was more than just mechanical. This wasn't just a watch. It was a memory, a relic of a time when her grandfather was still with her. He had been gone for years now, and this watch was the only piece of him she had left. With a gentle touch, she tapped it. Tick, tick. The watch started working again. A bittersweet smile spread across her face. The next day at college, she attended class as usual. The teacher began the lecture, following the Wednesday schedule. Confused, she raised her hand. "Sir, isn't today Friday? Why are we following Wednesday's timetable?" The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward her. "What are you talking about? Today is Wednesday." A chill ran down her spine. Checking her phone, the university calendar, even searching online, everything confirmed it. Somehow, yesterday had disappeared. She had already lived this day before. More strange things happened. Everything felt eerily familiar. By nightfall, the weight of confusion bore down on her, and she drifted into restless sleep. The next morning she woke up, only to find it was Tuesday. Time wasn't moving forward. It was reversing. Days passed, or rather rewound. Slowly she realized something. Her watch was running backwards. At first she hadn't noticed because she never really checked the time on it. She only wore it as a sentimental piece, a reminder of the past. Determined to fix whatever was happening, she took the watch to a local repair shop. The technician inspected it, puzzled. "This is an old watch, unlike anything I've seen before. It doesn't even have a brand. The mechanism is confusing." Desperate for answers, she asked if a bigger store could help. They directed her to a renowned repair shop in the city. The next day, technically the previous day, she traveled there. The expert watchmaker examined it carefully. "This isn't just an old watch," he said. "It's handmade. A rare piece." But something was wrong. Her grandfather wasn't a watchmaker. Who made this? Despite his best efforts, the watchmaker couldn't repair it. Disappointed, she took it back to her hostel. And so, each morning she woke up to the previous day. At first it terrified her. But then something changed. She found comfort in the past. She relived her school days, knowing all the answers to exams. She played like a child again, free from the weight of adulthood. Slowly she stopped trying to fix the watch. Maybe this wasn't a curse. Maybe it was a blessing. But as the days reversed, A horrifying realization struck her. She was now 10 years old, then 9, then 8. At this rate, one day she would disappear entirely. Her heart pounded as she counted the days. She knew the exact date she would cease to exist, her own birthday. Fear overshadowed the joy she once felt. How could she escape this fate? Then one morning she woke up to a day she remembered vividly, the day her grandfather gave her the watch. That morning she noticed something she hadn't before. Her grandfather was searching frantically through his room. She watched him, confused. "What are you looking for, Grandpa?" He hesitated, then sighed. "A watch. A very special one." Her eyes widened. This was the moment, the origin of everything. Quietly, she slipped away and placed the broken watch under a table. Moments later, her grandfather found it. She watched as his expression shifted from relief to shock. "It's broken," he muttered. She feigned innocence. "What's so special about that watch?" Her grandfather sighed, running a hand over the cracked glass. "This isn't just any watch. It has been in our family for generations, passed down from our ancestors." A chill ran down her spine. "Passed down? But I've had it all my life." Then, as usual, grandfather placed the broken watch on his wrist and he got ready for his morning jog. But this time something was different. That day he never came back. The family searched for him, but he was gone. Just vanished. That night, the girl cried herself to sleep, heartbroken, missing him more than ever. But when she woke up, something had changed. For the first time in years, time had moved forward. She had escaped the time loop. She didn't know how or why. But one thought lingered in her mind. Had her grandfather taken her place? If he was stuck in the loop now, did that mean he was reliving his youth? Was he safe? A tear slid down her cheek. She smiled. Because if that were true, her grandfather had many more years to live.